Thanks for joining me today. Before our practice, I wanted to set up the Dharma, the theme for the class today, which is based on the 8 limbs of yoga. According to Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras, there are 8, but he calls them limbs, but I like to think of them as steps or rungs on the ladder or spokes from the wheel, 8 components and different aspects of practice that all bring us to the goal of yoga, which is this sort of full self-awareness, deep understanding, and merging with all that is around us and all that we are, which is the last rung. So the steps, the limbs, are designed to move from the external to the internal. So from our outward behaviors and our personal daily habits are the first 2 limbs. The third is asana, our physical practice, and then it moves to breath and then to the mind and to deeper states of the mind. So it really is designed in a way to access these deeper levels of understanding based on the things we know best, starting with the things we know best. How do we behave in the world? How do we kind of construct our lives? How do we move? How do we understand our body? How does our body help us understand our breath? How does our breath help us understand our mind? And so on and so forth. So that there's this deepening or inward or involution that's happening, moving inward to gain deeper levels of refined understanding of ourselves. And I thought that this would merge nicely, this theme, with a slow flow practice. So it's still a vinyasa practice, but it's slower, the holds are longer. It'll just give us all a chance to utilize the 3rd limb, asana, and the 4th limb, pranayama, breath control, to explore this idea of how we move in and how we use these as tools towards greater understanding of ourselves, and not merely as an excellent, albeit excellent, form of exercise, that it does serve as the tool it was meant to be, which is one of many on the path towards knowing who we truly are. So that's the theme for today. I hope you enjoy it. I advise maybe having 2 blocks, as always, nearby just in case. And we're going to get started. So I'm going to stay here for now. Have you guys lie down on your backs. You can keep your feet a little wider than your knees and just let your knees rest together, and that way there's less effort in holding your knees up. And you can close your eyes. It's up to you. I would say I like to put my hands on my belly, or one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart, just to connect with the torso and the areas that move with your breath. And just begin this process by observing the breath you already have, your normal breathing, so that there's nothing forced or you're not trying to change anything. You're just trying to connect with that subtler aspect of this practice. And it's nice to close your eyes because that immediately shifts your awareness from the external to the internal, which is what I was sort of referring to. So just notice the breath. Take about 3 rounds of normal breath, keenly observing and giving the mind sort of a focal point to settle on. And as you get comfortable with this observation of breath, begin to expand that breath a little beyond your normal range of motion in your breathing. So maybe choose a count, something that is a little more challenging but doable, 4, 5, even 6, depending on how much practice you have under your belt. And expand that breath, both inhale and exhale, to the count you've chosen. And of course you can change that count, especially as we start to move, and certainly becomes a little more challenging like that. But this is just allowing us to set a pace and a rhythm for the idea of a slow flow. Hopefully our movements and our flow will match this breath. Okay? So take about 3 more. And then let your arms rest by your sides, and we'll put a simple movement to that breath. So as you inhale, pressing into the feet, lift the hips and lift the arms. Reach all the way back to the floor behind you. And then that slow exhale to bring the arms and the hips back down to the ground. Do that 3 more more times. Inhale, pressing up into bridge, arms reach back. Exhale, slowly lowering the entirety of your spine down to the mat. Inhale deeply, lift and reach. Exhale, lower down slowly. And just one more like that. Inhale. And exhale. And we'll start to add on to this. Inhale, lift the hips. Super slow exhale as the arms and the hips lower down. You're going to hug your knees to your chest and maybe bring your nose to your knees. That's up to you. And place your feet down, your head down. Inhale, back up to bridge. Arms reach up. Second time, exhale, everything lowers. Then the knees and maybe the nose come together. Feet down, head down. Inhale, lift. Slow exhale as you lower down and bring the nose and the knees together. Last time, inhale, rise. And exhale, lower. Good. And stay here. Use your core to slowly rock up to sit and back. Second time, rock up to sit and back. And this time, rock up and see if you can find Shavasana. So you don't actually put your feet down. You might still have your hands underneath your knees. You might remove most fingers, or you might remove your arms completely and hold here for a few breaths. And you're really trying to pull your thighs to your ribs to your thighs. Everything squeezes in towards the navel. So instead of an expansion, there's a deep drawing in as you breathe here for another 3 breaths. I'm going to take the shoulders down, lift the heart up, keep drawing everything towards the center. And then one more time, rock back for 3. Slow roll up. Notice I'm not rushing this, back. Roll up 2. This one's a big one, up to stand. And then right into a ragdoll when you get up. Okay, so you can always walk back if you didn't land where you needed to. Let your knees soften deeply so your upper body can release. You can grab your opposite elbows or let your arms release. That's totally up to you. And stay for a few breaths here in ragdoll, expanding your breathing as you stay here for a few breaths. While you're here, you can explore, because you have the time, where the weight distribution is in your body. So can you shift slightly forward, slightly back? Notice where the tipping point is for your hamstrings. Settle somewhere that feels challenging, but not too much too fast. So this is a chance to really get to know your body well and all the other components that come after that. One more breath. All right, let the arms release, soften your knees, begin to press through the legs, roll up to stand, taking your time. And then as you inhale, raise the arms, lift the heart, lift the eyes, or Vinyasa. Exhale, hands down the midline and fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine, seat draws back, heart forward. Then exhale, step your left leg back. We're going to come into high lunge slowly. So sit down, inhale, reach the arms up for 1. You can bend your back knee if you need to. Exhale, slowly down. Fingertips just slightly touch. Inhale, lift up for 2. Exhale, fingers down. Inhale, rise up for 3. Exhale, fingers down. Inhale, lift up for 4. And then long exhale, the fingers come down, your left foot steps forward. You'll lift halfway, big inhale, and exhale, release down. Good. This time, rise up to stand as you inhale, or Shavasana. Exhale, fold right back down. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Hands to the ground, exhale, right leg steps back. I'm going to keep it in its own lane. Sit down. Big inhale, lift slowly up through to high lunge. Exhale, fingers down for 1. Inhale, rise to high lunge. Exhale, fingers down 2. Breathe it up. So remember, that breath is your teacher here. The breath is the cue and the call. Try to get the body to follow, so you're going slower. Inhale, and then super long exhale, so the hands can come down and your right leg can step up. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, fold. Big inhale, come all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to the heart. Tadasana, you can let the arms rest. And we'll start to add on a little bit. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, spine lengthens. Just as before, exhale, left leg steps back. You're in sort of an inner hips width stance. Same thing. Inhale, rise to high lunge. But this time on the exhale, hands behind the back. Go ahead and interlace your fingers. Inhale, chest lifts up. Slow exhale, belly to thigh. Maybe hands reach up. Inhale, come up. Exhale, belly to thigh. Keep the back leg straight and strong when you lean forward. Inhale up. And exhale, fold. One more like this. Inhale up. And exhale, fold. Now, slow inhale, come up. Release the arms up. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. We're going to step into plank pose and find all the good stuff for plank pose. Okay? So, if someone were going to walk your plank, no hills, right? And no sagging. Pull those hips up so that your ankles, knees, hips, and shoulders are really on a nice, even incline. And then tailbone to heels, melt your heart a little, lengthen the top of your head forward. 3 breaths. We'll take a deep breath in and exhale, downward facing dog. Good. And so, your feet in plank pose and down dog, they are the same. Hip bone distance apart. Spread across the balls of your feet, so base of the big toe, base of the pinky toe are pressing down equally. Send the center of your heel down towards the mat. Even if they don't touch, that's fine. Okay, right leg is going to come up behind you. Keep it in its own lane. So you want to feel the inner right thigh lift up while the inner left thigh presses back. Take a breath in, look forward, super long exhale, step right foot, then left foot forward. Inhale, lengthen your spine, and exhale, fold. Finish that breath. Inhale, come all the way up. Right back down, exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Right leg steps back, exhale. Keep it in its own lane. You can even go wider if you want. Sit down. Inhale, arms rise. Hands behind the back, exhale. Fingers interlace. Inhale, chest rises. Breath by breath. Exhale, ribs on thigh. Inhale, come up. And exhale, fold. You might even notice as I come up on the inhale, I'm pausing. And then as I fold on the exhale, there's a little pause, because that's really how the breath works. One more. Right? Otherwise, we start to over-breathe. Exhale. Good. Now inhale, lift up and raise the arms up. And that slow, long exhale brings the hands to the floor. Once again, plank pose. Take a few breaths. And you're making those arms nice and solid and supportive. But if you only depend on the arms for your plank pose, you get tired pretty quickly. So Thighs squeeze up. Almost like you're wrapping your skeleton with your muscles. One more breath in. Exhale, down dog. Good, and just like your feet, press the base of your thumb and index finger down as you press the base of your pinky down. Your chest is moving back, but your forearms stay lifted. Left leg back. Lifting it into the air. Square off hips. And breathe, a couple more breaths. Trying to drive the heels back and down. Big breath in, look forward. Slow exhale, left foot, then right foot steps up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Nice. Let's go back again, sort of changing it, adding on. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. This time on the exhale, go ahead and step to plank pose. Let's take 3 breaths in plank. Now, you can put your knees down for this if you need the support, because we're going to take a long exhale to lower to the ground. And I don't want your hips or your chest to arrive first. I want everything to arrive at the same time. So put your knees down if you need it. If you're not, shift forward on your inhale, lower down, exhale, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Cobra. Inhale, come up. Come up to the cobra. That makes sense for your body. You might be lower, you might be higher. Deep breath in and out here. One more. Well done. You can lower down. You can slide your hands back, curl your toes, press up to plank, push back to down dog, or just push back any way you like. All right, right leg back. 3 deep breaths. Try to find the time to shift back towards the right side if you've shifted to the left side, right? Because that leg came up. You'll take a deep breath and look forward. Slow, exhale, bring the knee in. Really slow, step the foot forward. That's it, like slow motion. Left fingertips stay down, right arm comes up. Simple twist here, hold. And your hand can be on a block if you need it. Left palm can, be down. You can bring that block up as high as you need it to be for the time that you're here. Find your breath. One more. Inhale and exhale. Lower the right fingertips down, little toe side of the right foot. Back heel drops down. Bringing the left arm up, side angle. And again, block underneath your right hand as high as you need it to be so you can stay here. If you like to bring the arm next to your ear, you can do that as well. And we'll hold. I like to use that front knee to press into my bicep into my knee, so that I know I'm sort of in the place I should be. And now you have time. So what are you focusing on? The breath or the alignment or neutralizing the mind or maybe how the mind is working? One more breath here. Nice, guys. Release the left hand down. You're going to walk the hands around to the left and then turn your feet so that they're parallel to the short edge of your mat. We'll fold in Prasarita Padottanasana. I'm not particular about the version. Maybe palms down. Maybe hands to ankles, maybe fingers around big toes, whatever is accessible right now for you. And you want to look for the same weight distribution here as you did in your ragdoll. So forward and back, balls of the feet, heels, a couple times. Press both the inner and outer arches of your feet down evenly so that you're not over pressing to the outer edge or collapsing in, right? It's a nice even press. One more breath. All right, your chest up. Now, I'll leave it to you. You can leave your fingers on the ground. I'm going to cross my arms at my chest, hold my shoulders, so I'm not using my arms. And you're going to bend. I don't care which knee you start with, actually, just bend. I'll say your right knee first, and then you're keeping your hips low and pushing to the left side. I just want you to feel like you're gliding rather than lifting and lowering, so you're staying low to the ground and pushing through a straight leg. And we'll just do it one more time each side. All right, and then whenever the next time is that your knee bends towards the front of your mat, that's when you'll pivot and turn. Because we might all be on different legs at this point. Go ahead and step back to plank pose. Inhale. Again, it's a slow lower down. This time we can do up dog if you want. Slowly lower down. Pause. And then come through your back bend. Breathing back, down dog, exhale. All right, lift your left leg back. Make sure to keep that weight heavy in the left arm. Breathe and look forward, exhale, bring your left foot super, super slow forward, good. Sit down, right fingertips, left arm up, take a twist. And again, kind of exploring, hugging the legs in towards the midline, pressing through the heel, rolling the belly. Good, one more breath here, and then exhale, left fingertips come down, right heel drops down, right arm up, side angle. I'm going to turn so we can look at each other. And we'll hold for about another 5 breaths. Honestly, it took me a long time to even want to try to hold postures this long. It's hard. And it's just not even hard just for the body. The mind gets agitated sometimes too, right? So it just shows you the kind of the interconnection of all things. Take a breath in. Bring the hand down as you exhale. Once again, pivot the feet so that you are ready for your forward fold. If you want to take a different version than you did before, you can feel free to do that as well. And then fold. And we'll take a few breaths like this in your forward bend. I'm just going to square that off a little bit. Good. So find the version or versions that you like. Sometimes it's even fun. Bend the knees a little, draw the head down a little, and then press up through the hips, try to straighten the legs. One more breath. Nice. And then once again, you'll come onto your fingertips. You can certainly leave them on the ground if you want the support, or cross your hands across your chest. Start bending the other leg. So I'll say left leg. Start with that one first. Glide through to the other side. Right? So you're really staying low to the ground. And when you come into the final position, push and wait. And then do it again, and do it one more time each side, holding. And then the next time the knee bends towards the front of your mat, pivot, and set yourself up again for plank pose. You can just go to down dog if you like, or you're going to lower down 3 count, chaturanga. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. Nice. Take a couple of breaths in your downward facing dog. And see if you can keep the breath on the inhale and exhale, even like it was when you were lying on your back, which is hard to do. Okay. Take an inhale, look forward, bend your knees, exhale, step or jump. Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, fold. Staying here now in Uttanasana for a few breaths. Lots of options. Hands on blocks to fold, or Hands behind legs if you can, or just palms to the ground. You can start to move your fingers, even with your toes, to go deeper. So find your place and hold. Okay, lengthen as you inhale. Bend your knees deeply as you exhale. And then sweep the arms up on your inhale, Utkatasana. Now you can either stay here, take your arms a little wider, or bring the arms forward of your head. If you can't bring the arms directly next to your ears, you can even bring your arms forward. That's a nice thing to do as well. Okay? Did I distract you enough from holding this for 3 more breaths? You can look up if you like. You can keep your eyes forward. You can bring your arms back. 1 more breath in. Then take the hands behind the back and release the fingers. Inhale, chest up. Belly to thigh, nose to knees. Exhale, squeeze the legs straight. Hold. And breathe. Please feel free to keep your knees a little soft here if you need it. Right? Because the task is not how deep can you go. The task is, can you be mindful and slow and purposeful in your use of the postures. Hands will come to your low back. Bend your knees. Once again, inhale, Utkatasana. And then exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale to Ardha Uttanasana, and then you're going to move through your Vinyasa on your exhale. You can hop lightly back and lower slowly down. Pause at the top. So you're not rushing through these poses. I see that so much that people just want to get through it. Keep hugging the upper arm bones in, tops of the shoulders away from your ears. 1 more breath. All right, right leg back. Maybe kick the heel up a little higher if it's in your practice to do without opening up your hip. Look forward, inhale. It's like slow motion exhale. Right foot steps up, nice. We're going to come up to high lunge on the inhale. And then hands to the heart as you exhale. Turn your torso to the right and then lower your left elbow. So we're coming into reverse side angle here. And you'll breathe a few breaths. You can turn your head a little or all the way. Keep holding the rotation. Continue sitting your hips down and pressing through your back leg. Maybe think about squeezing your outer hips in. Just take 1 more breath here and then just look down. Slow motion button again. You're going to start to shift your weight into your right leg, peeling your left foot slowly up and seeing if you can bring it up. And then super slowly in, step up, rotated chair. Breathe. Right? It's not the asana itself, it's how you use it. 1 more breath. And then we're going to go back the way we came in. So super slow. Weight shifts into your right leg. Pull your left foot up. Stretch it back. And then step it back. 1 more breath here. And then the hands come down. Yay. Back knee comes down. Work your foot out a little further and come down into a little lizard for a few breaths. Give that right hip a break. I don't know if yours gets as sort of tired as mine does, but you'll let that happen. And of course, you could take this into any version you like. If you want to push onto the thigh and roll the thigh open and lean back a little, or you want to just keep it sort of centered and square. How do you use the breath and the mind and the body to affect our sense of self? How do we use it as a tool of investigation? Okay, I'm going to come up slowly and just bring your right foot back, sort of in line with your right hip again. Curl your back toes, lift your knees, standing splits. Bring the leg forward and reach the left leg up. Fold as you can towards the standing leg with any additions you like. All right, holding for a couple breaths. Then you can lift the chest and step your left leg back and go ahead and move through Vinyasa to down dog or just go to down dog. You also have the option to just go to child's pose for a few breaths. That's slow too. So maybe you're making your choices based on all this great information you're getting about how you're feeling right now. Right? Okay. Press back. Okay, left leg back. Couple breaths, so we're not rushing. Take a breath in, super long, slow exhale as you shift forward and step your foot forward. And then inhale, high lunge. And bring the hands to the heart. Turn your torso to the left. So I'm not leaning forward yet. I'm going to see where my range of motion is. Then I'm going to lean down and ooh, it's right there. So maybe I can find now a way to go deeper, right? Or maybe you're going to bring that elbow a little bit further now that you're here. And you'll take a few breaths here and just work your torso around. Again, put your head, where it needs to be. It's not always important to turn your head up, especially if you have neck issues or you're on tape. So we'll try this. Shift to your left leg. Start to peel your right foot up. And then for a moment, kick the leg up. There it is. And step it forward. And rotated chair. And one of the benefits of going slowly is if you do fall, it's not a big deal. You kind of fall slowly too. And you recover quickly. One more. All right, we'll go back the way we came. Shifting your weight into your left leg, peel your right foot up, reach it back slowly, and step it back. Good. One breath. And then the hands come to the ground, so does the back knee. And then you'll work your right foot to the right, hands to the inside. Maybe this is where you're going to be. Maybe you'll use blocks. Perhaps you come down a little deeper to the floor, depending. This is just a nice stretch now for the abductors, right, the glutes, the outer hips, the stabilizing muscles that allow you to sort of step that back foot up slowly and step it forward slowly and all the things that we just did. All right, guys, lifting off of your elbows slowly and working your left foot in line with your left hip. Back toes curl to lift your knees, standing splits. Move your hands forward, kick your back leg up. Find your forward fold to the left leg. Reach through your top leg. Use, another hand if you like. And then lift up and take a slow step back with your left leg. I'll meet you in down dog. You can get there any way you want. Take a few breaths in down dog, or if you'd like a variation, you can take right hand to left leg and twist. Just to, find a little something new. Switch sides. And then come through. Good. So this time when we jump forward, you're going to jump to the outsides of your hands or the width of your mat. By taking the legs wider, you might be able to jump slower, so try that. Breathe and look forward, deep bend in the knees. Exhale. Jump and just try to land slowly and quietly, and we'll come to Malasana, which is your squat. You're using your elbows to press your knees open, tailbone is down, heart is up. And because we have a few breaths here, if you think you want to sit on some blocks or you need to roll the back of your mat up and put your heels on some height, you can do that as well. The other option for you here, for the time that we're here, is to come into Bakasana if you like. So from Malasana, you might lift your hips, step back. Bring your knees to your upper outer arms, shift forward, and see if that's in your practice to do. Stay and breathe. And then see if you can come back down to Malasana slowly, if you were in Bakasana, and pause there. It's not easy to go slowly. Sometimes you just want to go quickly and get it over with. You know, momentum is helpful. We have no momentum here. So it really, really asks you to think and pay attention and, you know, kind of hold mind, body, breath in place. All right, release the hands down. Lift the hips, bring your feet in about hip bone distance apart, and now we'll come to let's come to Tadasana if you can do it. So toes lift, palm of your hand slides under the foot, same thing on the other side. You can bend your knees to do this if you need to. And then you can let your arms bend a little and loosen. Press into the hands with your toes and press your hips slightly up as the thighs push back. And see if you can find straighter legs. And I just really like this because it feels good on the wrists after, you know, plank and chaturanga and bakasana, and, you know, just feels good. So if you've ever been in a class where you're in a posture you love and the teacher's like, okay, time to come out, and you don't want to, that's the nice thing about here. We're just going to hold. Just sometimes it takes that long to even get into a posture. We'll take one more here. And of course, you can always press pause if you need to as well, which is the nice thing about these types of classes. Okay. Step off. And if you care to, you can heel toe the feet all the way together, or you can just bring the feet as they are. And then inhale, rise up. Hands to the heart as you exhale. Let's go back again. Inhale, raise the arms and the heart. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. And your way back to your vinyasa or to your down dog. With the goal of not rushing, but just taking your time. You're once again going to bring your right leg back behind. Try now to lift the heel a little higher, just so you can get a little more happening in the left hamstring. Slowly, slowly, slowly bring the knee in. Step the foot forward. A little different than before. Heel toe your right foot to the left just once. Turn and drop your back heel to the mat, keeping this back leg inwardly rotating. And then take your right hand, instead of leaving it next to your foot, slide it back a little. Like maybe just behind your heel. You can also use a block. Hand on your hip, start to push the right thigh into the right thigh bone, work to straighten through the leg. And then you'll know if you have to bring your hand up onto something. And then maintaining that slight tilt in on the back hip bone, roll the chest up and turn the head up. Trikonasana. And now you have time to really expand the limbs in all directions. Pressing the hips back, lengthening the spine out. Finding all the stuff we love about triangle, and we can linger in. but also to use it as a moment to cultivate mental qualities like patience or observation or neutrality, softness under slight stress, or whatever else you can use these poses as a doorway to. Deep breath in. Exhale, soften the front knee, lift your back heel, and lower your left hand down. Once again, you're going to drop your back knee to the floor and move your right foot a little over to the right. So again, your hands are interior of your front foot and your hips are descending. Now you might have to bring your left hand up on something, but you'll reach back with your right hand, bend your left knee, and catch your back foot, and then let that left quad begin to open, either by drawing the heel in closer or lowering the elbow down, and just staying here a few breaths. Maybe for the duration, you even want to hold that foot, square the chest, and bring your head down and keep pulling that heel in. So there are ways to allow this posture to become deeper through your own exploration because you have time to do that. 1 or 2 more breaths here. Maybe this is where we're yearning for fast and not slow flow, depending. Okay. You'll gently release that back leg, bring the hands back in and lift back up, and just shift the hips back a little, walking your left foot a bit over to the right foot to the left side, just a little bit. And then the back knee will come up and you'll slide the back knee behind the right foot as you sit down. All right, so the front view of that, if I were to mirror you, would look like this. Okay, and I want you to notice that I'm not yanking my foot all the way back. All right, instead, my ankle is in line with my knee, and instead of turning my toes forward, let me slide back so you can see this, which tends to be what people do, turn your toes out in line with your knee, so it's all nicely aligned. Okay? Spinal twist to the right. Go ahead and take your right hand behind, and the left arm can come around or over that right knee, and you'll twist. And I don't know anybody who doesn't like to spend a bit of time in a twist, so enjoy it. Breathe deeply, like you did when you were on your backs. We use the practice to move from the external to the internal, or the exterior to the interior, if you want to look at it that way, so that your mind is slowly drawing in and taking in all that's going on, not just outside of you, but within you, which is really what we're directed to do through this practice, is looking in that direction, not outside of ourselves for contentment or happiness or answers to who we are. 1 more breath here. And then allow yourself to come out of the twist and just sit and put your palms together in front of your heart. Lift your right foot. See if you can swing it all the way back, plant your palms, and then we'll move to down dog either through a vinyasa or no vinyasa, depending on what you want. When you get to down dog, let the left leg rise. See if you can lift it a little higher or put your right heel closer to the floor, or both. But don't open the hip to do it. Breathe in, look forward, and then exhale slowly. Bring your left foot to the front of the mat and heel toe it once to the right as you drop your back heel. And then the left hand is going to move back just a little, right hand on your hip, and you'll start to squeeze the left leg straight. And you're going slowly to kind of move that hand to stay underneath your shoulder or up a little higher. And then you can rotate the chest and extend the right arm and stay in your Trikonasana for a few breaths. You maybe even understand left side is so different than right side. Maybe it's better, maybe it's not as good. Understanding at that level what our bodies are doing is also a benefit of just moving slowly once in a while. So take another 4 breaths in Trikonasana. Use the inhale to expand outward, and on the exhale to feel that energy hug in towards your core. So it's almost like an undulation of energy with the breath as you hold your triangle pose. We'll take one more breath here. And then you'll release the right hand down, bend the left knee, lift your back heel, and once again drop that knee to the floor. You take the left hand to the inside, the left foot comes out, and then bending the back knee, reach back, grab your foot, and then find whatever depth you can or would like to explore here. Right, either opening or pulling in or even squaring down if that feels like a possibility. Okay. Release that slowly, hands to the ground. You'll just take the left hand to the outside of the left foot. Okay. Walk that left foot to the right once or twice, then pick your back knee up. Maybe you have a better view on this side. Back knee slides forward and tucks next to the left heel. All right, and if you recall, in this view, right, it's really just here. You're not pulling it back. It gives you no room to twist. So here you have much more room to twist, okay? Go ahead and bring your left hand back. Inhale the right arm up and either wrap it around or cross it over as you come into your spinal twist for a few breaths. You want to make sure your collarbones stay broad, your shoulder blades are sort of placed well on your back. You can even, use your hand to move that shoulder back. You have time, so that's nice. One more breath here. Turn forward, palms of the hands to the heart. Pick your left foot up, swing it back, and then come through your vinyasa to down dog. I'll meet you in down dog. So this time we're going to bring the right leg up, turn the hip open, and lift the leg higher. And I want you to see how that right hip, you see how it's rolled over and open? Now just try to square down, keeping the leg high. Wherever you have to drop the leg, you drop it. Now you're going to inhale, look forward, and as you exhale, slowly bring your knee in and try to overstep. How far can you step forward past your hands? And then drop your back knee and start to straighten through your front leg. So we're going to come into either Ardha Hanuman or going out further and further and further into Hanuman Asana, into your splits, whatever depth you can get to. Sometimes blocks underneath your hands, if you're just hovering off the floor, is a really nice way to go, right? Or same thing works if it's a block underneath your hip, if your hands can touch the ground, or if you don't need it. All right, so you can sort of work this posture any way that works for you, even a forward fold over the leg, but try to sort of commit and stay in your choice for a few breaths. And so sometimes the postures are meant to really, push your buttons a little bit and challenge you emotionally and psychologically. If you find yourself getting agitated, how do you minimize that reaction a little bit? All right, can you take one more breath? And of course, I know that you're already planning your escape route and you might already be out of this. If you want to go slowly and try to do it strongly, you're going to press your palms into the ground, curl your back toes into the mat, lift the knee and push. I'm hollowing out my belly. And then I'm trying to bring my right leg back, maybe next time without dragging my mat. And just come right back to down dog.
And then we'll lift for the other side. Left leg up. You're turning the hip open for now. That's your range, right? And then from your range, can you start to roll the left hip down? I'm going to have to lower my leg a little, but maybe not a lot. And then look forward and exhale. Go ahead and overstep and find your way through to your splits, whether it's a half, a 3/4, or a full, with blocks or no blocks. Notice if the left side is better, or I don't want to say worse, but harder on the left side than the right side. If you want to fold, you can fold. Sometimes that feels easier for those who are flexible than being upright, where you're challenging, more of the psoas to open. Settle in and find a way to blunt the effects of the posture by using it as the tool that it is. And think about how nice that is. If you really embrace the intent of asana as one of the rungs of a ladder, all moving towards a common destination, and you stop measuring your postures as much by range, as much as the quality of what's happening inside as you're doing it. Really, that is the goal. Like moving meditation. All right, however you want to get out of this, pushing down, lifting up, pulling back. All right, I did it this time. Push back into down dog, and then let's come into child's pose. This will feel really good. Always to bend and contract a little bit the hamstrings once you've done something deep like that. So go ahead and either walk the hands out, or perhaps you want to come over and take an offset child's pose, or you want a true child's pose, arms next to your shins. You'll take the posture that works best for you, and you can spend some time here. Right? We can stay for a while in postures that feel good as well, and feel restful, and feel, almost restorative in a way. Perhaps it's useful at this point to add the count of your breath back in, just to check back with that and see. Maybe you've been doing it the whole time and been conscious of it. Perhaps you've lost that thread a little bit as you've sort of upped the challenge of what you're doing with your body. But remember that the breath is that fourth rung of the ladder. It's important. Okay. You can curl yourself up from here and bring the legs in front of you. And normally I like to roll down slowly from where I am to the ground. Today, obviously, we're going to do it that way. So let's use a count. Let's just do 10. 5 is halfway, but we're going slowly. So take a breath in and start exhaling down for 10, and 9, 8, 7, not quite halfway yet, 6, and now here you should be about halfway. Now I want you to stay and just consider moving from where you are to the ground as slowly and steadily as you did the first 5 counts. Take a breath in. Navel to spine, lowering down 5, and 4, 3, 2, and then 1. Good. And now you're on your backs, and you can bend your knees a little more, pull your heels back so the heels are beneath your knees, everything hip bone distance apart. Good. You can leave your arms by your sides for now. Press down into the feet. Inhale, roll the hips up, pause, and then go ahead and roll one arm, if you can, and then the other underneath. Press a second time up through the feet and the shoulders. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, bridge pose. Stay. It's just very hard for me to talk like that. So a long hold, some deep breaths. Maybe finding the peak for you, like the edge where you're like, okay, I'm working really hard, and challenging yourself to stay at that level for the few breaths that we're still here. Take one more deep breath in. Separate your hands and lower down slowly on your exhale until your hips are back down. And at that point, open your feet to the width of your mat and drop your knees together like you did at the beginning of the practice. You can even move your arms a little further away from your body so that you don't feel constricted at all, and stay. And then the slow transition is nice too because you can feel what's going on in your body. And we're going to keep the feet wide but separate the knees and then let both knees fall to the left. Okay? And if you like, you can rest your left foot on your right knee and pull that knee down closer to the ground. Anywhere you want to put your arms is fine. And you're just letting your low back have a nice stretch, front of that right leg opening up. You can then release your foot off of your knee if it's there. Roll the legs back through center. Make sure your feet are still wide and drop them to the right. And then adding on, if you like, the right foot on the left knee to draw the knee further down to the floor. Come through center. And then we'll move into Shavasana, but if there are any last small micro movements you want to do, like hugging your knees to your chest or Supta Baddha Konasana, letting your knees open out to the sides, you can do that as well. In another, 5-6 breaths, find your way to Shavasana with your legs straight forward, slightly wide. Your arms are by your sides, your palms are turned up so that you have a nice sense of openness, a gesture of receptivity. The eyes are closed, so we continue to notice the inner landscape of thought patterns, breath patterns, emotional patterns, whatever is stored up inside. Sometimes the body is a distraction for those other things. And with your eyes closed, begin to relax your breath as well as your body so that we are moving from the exterior or external to the interior or internal. And Patanjali says that we first practice our yoga in our behavior in the world. The behavior with others and our own personal behavior. Those are the first two limbs of Ashtanga Yoga, the 8-limbed path. The third is how we use our bodies, then our breath, then our senses as we draw them in. And the last 3 limbs are mental. They are concentration with effort, then effortless concentration or meditation, and finally this state of merging back to who we are, back to greater understanding, deep knowledge that's already implanted within us, that's already there to access. We choose to use our bodies here as tools, but other people practice yoga in different ways. So don't get stuck on the tool. Try to keep in mind the path. And then, of course, feel free to stay here as long as you like, or if you're ready, you can begin to shift from where you are to your right side, and after a breath, from your right side up to sit. Closing your eyes and bringing the palms of your hands together in front of your heart.
And in this moment, just taking one pause, not even rushing to end the practice, but just feeling the moment before the ending. Continue to take the awareness you've built in this practice out with you into your day. And may the space between where you are and where you want to be inspire you. Namaste.